folks, I've briefly mentioned that I've been building out my new wood shop. It's about a 4,000 square foot building with 2,000 square feet on the first floor that's commercial and 2 apartments upstairs. The building had no drywall at all. I've recently got done hanging every piece of drywall in that building, and I have some full sheets left over and I have some partial sheets left over, so I figured it'd be a good time to use up these spare pieces and finish hanging drywall in the bathroom. So that's what we're going to do today. I picked up some new tricks and tips since the last time I hung drywall on this channel about 2 years ago. I'll put a link to that video. Alright, so here's the scene of the future crime. This is where we're going to be working. So I've got 3 walls today that my goal is to get the drywall hung and at least 1 layer of mud with the joints taped. So I've got about maybe 6 hours to work, so we better get started. Alright, here's the first tip. I got a notch around this beam, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it to make sure that it maybe fits a little bit better. I've got this drawn out, and this is going to show these edges. So when I cut these lines, I'm going to angle my knife up that way so it has more relief in the back, and when I cut this one, I'm going to angle my knife down this way. Alright, here is tip number 2. Don't hesitate to buy the right tools. So it's a well-known fact that it takes 1 hand to hold the screw, 1 hand to hold the drill and drive it in, and 1 hand to hold up the piece of drywall. And I don't know about you, but that's 1 more hand than I got. This thing is awesome. Auto-loading drywall screw gun. You can also use it for decks. If you have any amount of drywall to do, this speeds you up to no end. I would definitely recommend it. This is not the model that I would buy. I originally had one that had an extendable tube on the end. I dropped that off a ladder and broke it. I liked it so much I did not hesitate to go back to the store to buy the exact same one. They didn't have it in stock. They had this one. I needed it right away, so now this is the one I got. Alright, so there's 2 things I should mention before we go any further. The way that I've hung this is known as railroad style. It is parallel to the joints. And then this is called a hanging joint. It's a joint that doesn't land on a stud. It's pretty well accepted that you shouldn't do either one. But like everything in life, it's not black and white. So by hanging them vertically, I can eliminate butt joints. I am just not that good at hiding butt joints, so I've chosen to do that. And then the hanging joint, there is a way that you can get around this by using a backer board. So that's what we're going to do. So if I was smart, I would have made this room exactly 8 feet, and then I could have avoided this last joint and used 1 sheet horizontally, but I'm not, so I didn't. Alright, so there, now we got our bevel joint there, really easy to tape and seam. Alright, and then we got this little 1 strip of non-mold resistant drywall. I personally think that that stuff is a complete gimmick. Have I mentioned I'm doing this with scrap pieces? What's that you say? A sheet of 5/8 drywall costs $10? Well, It's the principle. I don't want to go back to the store and buy more. Alright, high stakes piece here. This guy has to fit here, and if it doesn't fit, I don't have enough to finish, so that will be super annoying. Piece up there. Alright, so I just got that piece to fit behind me. I don't know, it's going to probably take 30 seconds on camera, but it was more like a half an hour in real life. And the irony of it is that the places where it was tight served absolutely no purpose. It really only had to fit tight across the top, but it was tight on either side, and I just kept cutting it down by only a little bit, which was pointless, because I'm going to cover the corners anyway when I butt the next piece up to it. So like, I don't know, sometimes I just do stuff like that. But, you know, if you can avoid doing, like, stupid, senseless things, then you can go faster than me. Alright, I just put this piece in. I guess I forgot to hit record, but that's in there now. We gotta cut another triangle just like the other side. Oh, that's metal. Ooh. Oh boy, that's jagged metal. Okay. Alright, it works. It fits. And we want to slide it that way. Alright, so we got that entirely hung. Let's go take a look and see what we got done. So we got this wall here, a little bit of non-mold resistant. I don't really think that stuff matters personally. I'm sure people will disagree with me, but I kind of think it's a gimmick. And the rest of this is this mold guard. This room is going to have an exhaust fan, and then this wall I can't do. I guess I can tell you why. So I'm getting a free mini split, so I'm going to put it in there. I reached out to Pioneer and asked if they'd send me one, and they said yes. So, coming up here at some point, there's going to be a video of me putting in a mini split, and that should be pretty nice because this place is like the peak 4 months of summer. It's like miserable out here. The pond water level is up to the overflow, and it looks like I put the overflow a little bit too low. So I'm going to try and raise that up like 3 inches one of these nice warm days here. Alright guys, well I think I'm pretty much well situated for bed. I'm gonna read my book and we'll get started on the work in the morning. Alright, so we're gonna tape those seams. A couple things I do different since the last time. I'll put a link to that video. I no longer use this mesh tape. I don't really use it for anything, maybe repairs. I now use the paper tape. It's got a crease in the middle, so I use it for corners and butt joints and bevel joints. I'm using this kind of joint compound. There's all kinds. It probably matters to people who are good at drywall, but for people like me and you, I'm just using this. Alright, so the first and really the only major tip for mudding joints is to wet your compound. I can't like say how wet, just wetter than it comes in the tub. And we'll do some other little tips as we go. Alright, so we'll do one bevel joint and one corner joint, and then I'll show you guys when I'm done, or do a time lapse or something of the whole thing. So use the side of the knife. See if I can reach all the way up. Yeah, so they make a little belt loop for your tape. I've got one. Forgot to bring it, but those things are awesome. I would not hesitate to buy one of those. Those are really cool. Pull up my pants here. We're not plumbing here. Alright, so go, I don't know, inch, half inch, rip it off, and then go up, because otherwise all this mud will just fall on the ground, except for the top where I can't reach. So I'm just going to go like this. Just got my first bit of drywall mud on my cedar. Whoops. Alright, that should be good. And I'm going to grab my other knife. And this is a bevel joint, so it doesn't have to be like perfect. I'm just going to go up, and then I can't reach, so I got to go down. And that's pretty good. Not going to worry, there's a little bit of a joint there. I'm not going to worry about that because it's going to get another layer. The edge, it's not like perfectly feathered in. I personally don't care about that because I'm going to go over it again. It's still inside the bevel. The bevel goes to about there. So for me, an amateur drywaller, I'm going to call that good. I'm not going to mess with it. I don't know professionals out there. If you're watching, I would love to hear what you do. I get some of my best tips from you guys, so definitely chime in, but otherwise, that's how I would do the first layer of a joint. Okay, so we got all of our bevel joints done and all our little screw holes taped. So I think now we'll do this corner together. And you'll focus there. Alright, so that's kind of the consistency I'm going for. It's kind of slaking down a little bit, not too much. And it's pretty similar. You know, just use the corner of the knife. I'm trying to do this so I don't stand in your way, so it probably does look a little bit awkward. Got my tape here. It's got a little pre-factory crease in it. Alright, so I left that a little bit too long. Alright, now I'll just do the other side there. Alright, so we got that all taped. Let's go take a look. You know, when you're an amateur drywaller, you just got to realize you can get good results, but it's going to cost you in speed and time. So really, in my mind, on the first layer, the only sin that can't be forgiven is leaving something too high. If it's too low, you can always get it on the next layer, unless it's the last layer, in which then you're screwed. And then you got to sand. But we don't want to do that. Alright, so let's take a look. Nice and wide here. So we got that corner done. Kind kind of used a thick knife there. There's a corner and then a bevel joint. Just kind of filled it, and then we got this bevel joint here. We got everything taped. Got that corner, and I really wish I could have done this wall, but the line set's going to go right through there, and I just don't want to mess with trying to fish it through somewhere. So there you go. Oh yeah, so originally I was going to go all the way up the wall with the cedar, and I kind of thought the same thing I thought about the bedroom. I thought it was going to be too much texture, too much wood, you know, too much of a good thing. So I figured breaking it up with drywall, it allows me to kind of mute some of that out and kind of make the wood special where it is instead of just all wood. So that's the reason why I went with that. I had previously said that I was going to take that metal out. I don't think I'm going to now, because I'm just never going to get this place done if I don't start making like some minor compromises. So I'm going to try and live with that. We're going to see how it goes. You know, I'm not super thrilled about how this room's coming out, but all in all, I think it looks good enough. You know, 7 years on cabin building, I'm finally getting to the point where we can say, you know, good enough. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Got a bunch of good ones coming up. I mean, I think we won't miss an upload for at least like a month or two now. I've got some in the pipeline that are almost done. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.